and you're with Matrix Uploaded Life Sciences. Today we're going to be looking at the cell cycle. What do we mean by the cell cycle? Well, you need to remember that cells are living entities. They are living units that make up your body and the bodies of every other different organism. And cells do not live forever. Just like you and any other organism, they start their life, they live their life, and then they die. Now that isn't very good for you unless they can be replaced. And so we're going to look at what happens in the life cycle of a cell and what happens when that cell needs to be replaced. So cells actually spend about 90% of their life cycle going about their normal functions, but 10% of the life cycle is spent preparing and then dividing to make new cells that will replace itself when it has died. The cell cycle can often be drawn as a circle. It makes sense and it shows you how this process continues again and again and again in your body. And I said to you earlier that 90% of the life of a particular cell is spent going about its normal metabolic activities, growing and producing whatever it is it has to do. If it's a bone cell, it's going to do what bone cells do. It's going to produce a very strong structure that is going to be able to hold your body in its characteristic position. If it's a blood cell, it's going to be involved, if it's a red blood cell, with transporting oxygen around the body. If it's a white blood cell, it's going to be involved with making sure that your body is not subject to different infections. So 90% of the life cycle, or the cycle of the cell, is spent in what we call interphase. But 10% of its time, it's going to spend undergoing a division process, and that division process is called mitosis. Before the cell actually divides, it has to take its DNA and replicate it. That means it has to make a copy of its DNA. And that stands to reason. If you are going to divide something in half, and the very important instructions for how the new cell has to cope, live, undergo its interphase have to be in that cell, well, better you make a copy of that DNA and those instructions before the cell actually divides. I've shown you here that the cell cycle consists of interphase, which then leads into this period of DNA replication, which is still part of interphase, and then we have cell division or mitosis. And mitosis is made up of 4 different phases or stages. In our lesson next week, we're going to investigate these 4 stages in great detail. So our bodies produce billions of new cells all the time. As you're sitting there watching this program, inside your body and on outside, everything is undergoing change. Your cells are dying and your cells are being born, or they're being produced by the process of mitosis. It's a continual process. It's not like you go to sleep and cells die, and when you wake up, there's new cells. It's a continual process throughout the day. In fact, everywhere where you go, this is a disgusting thought, you leave behind dead cells that have just fallen off your skin. So when you get up from the couch, they take your dead cells with you. All right, don't pollute the air. Now, some cells, some very specialized cells, like nerve cells, never ever divide. They remain in interphase. And that's why any form of nerve damage is so severe, because those nerve cells don't make new ones. So if you take drugs and if you drink alcohol that is going to damage brain cells, particularly certain kinds of drugs like cocaine, cat, heroin, marijuana, you're going to be damaging nerve cells that are never going to grow again and are never going to be replaced. and that's going to kind of create big gaps and dark black holes inside your brain, which is rather tragic. Whereas you know that if you damage your skin, those skin cells actually divide quite soon, and fairly soon and rapidly you've healed. So other cells divide. Mitosis, or normal cell division, will only take up 10% of the cell cycle, and it's very important to remember that only somatic cells, or normal body cells, undergo that form of cell division. No other kind of cell, only your body cells. In a further lesson, we're going to be looking at a special kind of cell division called meiosis, which produces gametes, or reproductive cells. Why does mitosis, or cell division, need to take place? Well, the first reason for mitosis is for growth and for replacement of damaged cells. Some textbooks tell you that mitosis fixes cells or repairs cells. It doesn't. It replaces the cells that have been damaged. When you grow, you start off as a very tiny baby and you grow to be a mature adult. Well, you needed to add more cells to your body, and that's a very important aspect of mitosis, adding more cells to your body. When damaged or old cells die, mitosis will take place to repair the lost cells. And so you have a parent cell which is damaged. A new cell has to be produced that is identical to the parent cell and identical to the other cells all around it, and that is where mitosis is vitally important once again. After the break, we'll continue looking at the cell cycle.